Well, back to the old grind.
Alright, hello my fellow broke people, and welcome to the first official episode of the podcast. I would like to get into some news first, and then I will begin the episode. But first, I do want to make an apology. I was not supposed to be gone for this long. My first episode was actually supposed to be 2 weeks ago. However, due to family issues, which I will not get into quite yet, maybe in the near future, but it is my first episode, so I'm going to keep that on the back burner for now. And, due to school stuff, I had midterms, to put it lightly, and midterms, they suck. And, doesn't matter if you're in high school or college. I don't know why I'm pausing so much. Just give me a second to collect my thoughts. I have my script pulled up, but I don't want to be too reliant on it. I mean, I want this to feel like a nice conversation between friends, not like a scripted video, no matter how scripted it actually is. Trying something new with the natural lights instead of the harsh yellow light. That was the one criticism I got from my film teacher when I uploaded my first episode. And, on a brighter note, I did get accepted into the university I wanted, so I could not get the pilot on Spotify. I was having issues with my Chromebook, specifically the editing, so I'm going to try editing it on my phone, and then emailing it back to myself, and then uploading it onto Spotify like that. We'll see what happens. I will let you know in episode 2 if this is up on Spotify. But what do we have in store for today's episode? That is a way more important question, because, I don't want to spend too long on the intro. It's already been dang near 2 minutes. Well, I'm going to be discussing a nice jazz album, In My Room by Jacob Collier. So sorry if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. I don't think I am, though. And then we will be discussing a really... It's not bad, it's very camp, but it's a low-budget movie called Plan 9 from Outer Space. I can't wait to get into that one with y'all. That one is... It's something. And then we will be discussing a YouTube channel called Karina Kaboom. And that is what we have in store for today's video. / podcast. I'm going to be honest with y'all. I don't even know if this is a podcast or a YouTube channel anymore. But, we live, we learn, we let die. We will figure it out soon. I'm going to pull up my script now. I know, I just lied. I just said I had my script pulled up. It won't let me film with the script, so I have it pulled up on my phone while I talk. So if I'm glancing down a lot, that's why. But again, I feel like you guys are here to more so listen to me than watch me. I hope. While this is loading, I would like to say thank you for 19 subscribers. I know that sounds like I'm being condescending, but essentially when I uploaded my pilot, it's like 19 people came up to me and said, I really like your stuff, bro. And to that I would say, thank you. I think I'm going to edit out most of this rambling and editing anyways. Wow, I'm really redundant. Alright, but, hold on. Just clap to cue my transition. So, for starters, we have that album I was talking about. It's called In My Room by Jacob Collier. It is a modern jazz album, and Jacob made it, in his bedroom. Hence the title. And although I don't know the exact budget of the album, I do have the estimates pulled up in my notes here. And I can say, not that much. Yeah, it's just not that much. The song was recorded in his bedroom, so there was no real studio equipment required, which actually kind of worked in his favor. I think the album has a certain type of charm to it that I feel like gets lost in most albums these days. It's a very lovely album. For what it is. I'm normally not a big fan of jazz, but I think Jacob makes it work well. I don't like his cover of the Flintstones. I thought that was weird. Other than that, pretty solid, very talented young man. I think, the production was excellent. Considering, again, I think he was like 22 when he made it, yeah? And he does not sound 22. I thought he was he is a grown man if he's 22, but I thought he was much older than what he was just based off of his voice alone. It's very deep and it's very soothing. You know what? I'm not going to script it. I'll have this pulled up for notes specifically for the film, but I feel like, I'm going to do better without the script. But also, I should probably refer to my notes for this segment in particular as well, but it's not even that long. I was looking because I did have some budgeting stuff written out in my script, which is why I pulled it back up. But, wow. Yeah, this is why I need a script. I've been rambling for God knows how long. 5 minutes. I'm so sorry to my listeners. Basically, I know that most albums cost anywhere between $200,000 to $35,000 just to produce, according to, accountant John McClane, which to me that is insane. You are spending so much on an album that you could have made in your bedroom, because I cannot stress enough, go listen to Jacob's album. It is wonderful. It is it's good cooking music. Does that make sense? Like, I put it on back when I still worked at a fast food place. I would put it on while I was, like, cleaning and closing. And I'd also put it on while I'm cooking at home, because it's just such a nice, relaxing album. Like, I don't know how to explain it. I don't know how to explain it, because he's not an artist that I'm that passionate about. Like, I like his music, but he's not Melanie Martinez, Peep the Painting behind me. But I think for what it is, and for an up-and-coming artist, very good. It was released in 2016, and it's a little under an hour long, so for an album, I don't know, is that long for an album? Most albums these days, I find, tend to be closer to 40 minutes than about, 50 to an hour, but who knows? And I know what y'all are about to come say in the comments. Rue, people don't even have to spend $200,000 to produce an album. And to those commenters, I'm gonna say, I know, what do you think the point of this podcast is? I'm trying to show that things can be good and be low budget. I don't know if my dialogue's very good. That is a thing. I don't know if my dialogue's very good. I think I have my stuff outlined so tightly that I'm a little scared to go off script. But I'm new. I'm learning. And I hope, again, that this mic quality is decent and that you really appreciate the audio quality. And the lighting, even though I can't tell if I'm blurry or if my glasses just direly need cleaned. Yeah, and as we can see by my outline, I don't think this episode would be long if I stuck to anything. So I lied. Again, not really. Is it lying or is it changing my mind? You guys don't understand that reference now. You will by the end of this video. I will try to talk more about it. Again, I edit, but I try not to edit out stuff like this because, again, I'm not gonna lie, pat time. I feel like most podcasts should be about 30 minutes, and if I stuck to everything I had outlined really strictly, I don't think we'd get past 10. So again, I'm trying to make this like normal podcast length, and trying to make it feel like you're having a conversation with a friend. This is sort of like what you would have if you were in a conversation with me, except for I would go on 10 million side tangents, which I could do. I mean, do you guys want to hear about my favorite artist? Yes, Rue, we do! Oh, I'm so glad. Okay, my favorite singer is Mitski and Melanie Martinez. Those are my two. Oh, crap, I was gonna talk about this band that, like, I hate, but I like at the same time, because they're so camp. And I guess but I'm reviewing there's a band member who's in a podcast I'm discussing next episode, and I guess I can reference it there, but I don't think I'm discussing the album until, like, the actual album of that band until about episode 10, I want to say. I have my first 20 episodes, like, mapped out, like, what I want to say, what I want to discuss, what I want to talk about, at least very loosely. But I don't know. I hope you guys like this despite the rambling. I personally think that Jacob, You guys did get the side tangent, so we're gonna go back to Jacob Collier. I think, again, he has a very lovely voice. I think the fact that he plays so many instruments is impressive, because he did it all himself, and I was able to pick up about, like, I want to say, like, 5 or 6 just from listening without headphones in, and he played all those himself, so that is... You know how smart you have to be for that? Like, holy crap, dude, I wish I could play an instrument. Well, I think I've rambled enough, and I think you guys heard enough uncomfortable sniffing, lip smacking, likes, and all that, so we're just gonna move on to the next topic, which hopefully will go by a lot smoother, but spoiler alert, the movie was a drag to get to. Alright, so I have my notes pulled up again, and I just want to start out this segment with MILF. Man, I love films. That joke wasn't funny. My mom is subscribed to me. I probably shouldn't have said that. But anyways, yes, we will be discussing the film Plan 9 from Outer Space, directed, produced, and written by Ed Wood. Wow, and I just want to say this costed $60,000 to make, which might have been a lot at the time, but when I looked up bad low-budget movies, this was titled the king of bad low-budget movies, and I wish I could say, yeah, I see it. But when I think of a bad low-budget movie, I think of Ratatouille or like Fateful Findings, like, fun bad movies. But this one was, yeah, it was low budget, and it wasn't very good, but it wasn't, like, fun bad. Like, I really looking at the notes that I have written down right now, I couldn't even think of, like, jokes to be making about this, because it is just such a slog to get through. I think it has a very creative premise. I like the premise of the movie. I like the idea that aliens, like, resurrected dead people and, like, use that as their minions to take over Earth, but the problem is it is executed so bad. And maybe it's because I just watched the movie in increments while I filled out my college stuff, but I see the appeal. I see why a boomer would like it, but I don't understand why, if you're over the age of 50, or no, I'm sorry, under the age of 50, how or why you would enjoy this film. There's just not that much redeemable about it, other than the premise. I like some of the sets. Yeah, they're stupid and over the top and dumb, but it's the 50s. So that's to be expected. And you know what? I like dumb sets. Is that weird to say? I genuinely enjoy looking at, like, a movie set, and it's so bad that it's kind of good. So that's something. I had, like, some notes written about the acting, which was very over the top. But again, I don't know if that's, like, a time period thing or not. I wasn't alive during the 50s. Obviously, I wasn't alive during the 50s. But what I'm trying to say when I say that, what I mean is, I don't know if that was, like, common. If that's how people acted. Like, really, oh my god, there's an alien, what will I do? And it's like, ma'am, why are you moving your hands like that? Are you Italian? I don't know, Italians got mad at that. Anyways. Yeah, it's just, overall, it's bad, but, like, not awful. This is not the king of bad movies, okay? This is not as awful as Rotten Tomatoes made it sound to be. And it sounds weird to say, but I really overestimated how it's not good. But it's not the king. I don't know how to put this into words. You'd have to watch the movie for yourself. It's free on YouTube, but it is just like an hour, and I think it was about 12 minutes. I could be, again, a little off, but it was about an hour and 12 minutes, and it was just boring. There was nothing, like, funny or interesting beyond the surface level. I think maybe I like the narrator, I guess. Like, the narrator guy who was in the beginning and the end, he seemed to enjoy his job. He clearly had fun. I wish I had fun. I wish I had fun watching that movie. That's like an hour of my life. I'm not gonna get back. And I wonder if I would have cut, like, the movie out of this lineup altogether if I would have been able to get this episode out sooner. But I don't know. It's, like, it's not that great. How many times am I gonna say it's not that great? Jesus. But I do have a review written down, and we are going to read it. So this review is from user Greg Moldonovan65. Really sorry if I got that wrong. I will be editing a photo of, like, a screenshot of his review up here. But what he says, in all uppercases, is my favorite / worst movie ever. I love it. And you know what, Greg? Well put. I love your enthusiasm. Don't lose it. But if you ask me, it's just overrated. I think that's the word I'm looking for. It is overrated in how bad it is, because it's not... The fact that I have nothing to say either shows that I'm dumb, which might be the case, or that there's just nothing going on in the movie, which I think is the truth. I mean, it's just... There was no real plot to it. There was no real beginning, middle, end, emotional climax, resolution. So that makes it hard to rate, and I think it costing $1.99 on Amazon is probably a pretty good price range to keep it at, because, wow. Like, I wish the South Park movie didn't have such a high budget, and then I could talk about that instead. Because now, if you want to hear a good movie review, I can review that. Then again, I also thought I could review this movie, and it's just... Even in my notes, like, I was just droning on about the budget. I don't care about the budget. Y'all probably don't care about the budget, because there's nothing that this movie gives me to care about. I don't like any of the characters. And it is so forgettable. I watched the movie last night while I was editing, like, the first segment of the script, which I didn't even use, so I don't know why I did that. I guess in case if I had to fall back on it, but... I was watching it last night, and I've already forgotten it. I've already forgotten almost every single thing that happens in the movie except for the ending. Which was really dumb. And it's like they confronted the aliens, but... I don't know. I can't even tell you, like, how it ends, because it just kind of has the narrator come back in, and it ends abruptly. Maybe I was just tired when I watched it, but I just don't understand why... I don't know. It's creative enough that I think I'm letting it get away with a lot. And I really hate being negative, because in my script I was positive. In my script I was really positive. But that is because I wanted to show that things can be low budget and good. But this is not. It's not. Maybe I have a short attention span and TikTok absolutely fried my brain and it's just liquefied. But this is low budget and truly just mid. You know, that's a mid. I can't hate this movie because I can't feel anything about this movie. I have never had a film trigger this much apathy in me since I watched, what was it called? I think it was called... Wow, see, that was another bad movie. If I can't even remember it. It was like a... Drawn Together, the movie. That is a hot take. You guys are gonna come for me. Drawn Together, the show is great, but that movie was atrocious. That was awful. But in my script, I wrote that I rated a 6 out of 10. I think I was being too generous. But again, it's not bad that I can justify putting it at like a 3, 2, 1, or even a 4. But 6, I feel like 6 I'd have to remember at least something, right? So, I'm going to rate this movie, final rating, a solid 5 out of 10. Yeah. Also, I'm noticing that I'm talking with my hands a lot, so I guess I have no real reason to come at the actors. So 5.5 out of 10, there we go. I was being a hypocrite, so I'll be a little nicer to this movie now, but we're going to talk about something a little bit more fun, something that I was kind of waiting to get into. This is going to segue into our next topic. the YouTuber Karina Kaboom. Alright, so hello. I hope you got a snack, used the restroom, whatever you had to do during that brief transition that I did, but yeah, Karina is actually probably the most entertaining topic I had on this list. She is a YouTuber, a reaction channel to be specifically, and she talks about the YouTubers Amberlynn Reid and Chantal Marie. So, Karina always presents her opinions in a very well-spoken, well-thought-out, informative way, and she's also very funny. I think Karina, whether it be her editing or her wittiness, I think she's wonderful. I think it makes her that much more funny. Wow, I really do need a script. That was bad. I'm not editing it out, though. If I edit out every single time I stumbled on my words, this video is not gonna reach 30 minutes, but I think she's funny. Yeah, I know some people don't like her because she talks about Amber and Chantal, and a lot of people think that she talks about them inherently because they're fat and that's why she's mean to them, but this might be an unpopular opinion. I just think Chantal and Amber are awful people, and if you watch Karina's videos, you'll see why. Most of them don't exceed upon, like, I feel like most of them are 20 to 30 minutes, I'd say. So, they're not that long. They're probably about the length of this video, but with, like, much more content to take in. She is so well-spoken. She is so funny. She's such a good editor. And what makes her a low-budget YouTube channel is, I feel like the only thing she had to spend money for was editing software and a microphone. But then again, I just used this baby mic that I got for $20. So, who knows? Maybe her good quality audio is from another $20 baby microphone. But if you have 20 minutes, I would watch her. She's real funny. I am going to refer back to my script again because I did definitely have much more written about her. Yeah, I'm sorry if this podcast episode is rushed. Again, I was supposed to get an episode out like 2 weeks ago, but school, family, I didn't have time. Okay, so I did discuss how she presents her opinions on Amber and Chantal, which I've noticed is very kind. She's not mean. Some people think she's mean. I feel like she just kind of states her truth, how she feels, with evidence to back it up, and that may come across as malintent, but really, I've noticed she gives advice, which is something I don't see many reaction channels do, other than maybe Zachary Michael and Alex Ishuk. If you watch them, if you know, you know, you know. I think that the fact that she does give advice in such a well thought out manner makes her nice and kind. And also, she doesn't actually insult them for their appearance, which I feel like makes a lot of people lose that argument of, oh, she's just mean to them because they're fat. Well, no, because she doesn't really insult their appearance. She insults how they treat others around them and how they treat their animals, how they treat their audience. And I just feel like, you know, those are all valid criticisms. If you don't want to be criticized for it, for how you treat people around you, either don't be a piece of garbage, like, hey, how about that? How about you don't insult your partners or degrade your partners on live? How about you don't use slurs that you can't reclaim? How about you don't do this, that, and the third? How about you just act like a decent civilian and be kind? Or just film by yourself, or just don't film with other people. But then that might be boring. Like, I do have, for the band that I hate but I love at the same time, I am most likely going to have my friend Trinity on the podcast with me to discuss that. Maybe even second episode, because there is like a lot that I want to get into when it comes to those two. Or my friend Ema. We'll see. But, yeah, I'm at 24 minutes. I didn't have much written down for Karina, because I feel like Karina's much more popular YouTuber than I am. So, you might have heard of her before. Maybe not. But, again, if you have 20 to 30 minutes, I would suggest sit down and give her a watch. You don't have to like her content. And obviously, as Karina says, I discourage any negative, disparaging comments to Chantal and Amber. So if you stumble upon them, don't be mean to them. Just scroll past. It's not worth your time. Well, I have nothing else to talk about. I really wish that I made this episode longer and that I had more stuff to fill in for the script. I think I'm going to try in the future going less on strictly facts, because I did have fun. You know, my pilot, I was like really script heavy. Like, I only stuck to the script. But maybe, you know, if I put in more, I don't want to say fluff, but like more like fun stuff to talk about, and instead of like only relying on like the 3 topics with budgeting facts, because I feel like that would get boring. It's not really the type of stuff I'm into, and if I'm not into it, you guys aren't going to be into it. So yeah, next episode for the script, I'm going to put in more fun stuff, more jokes, because there's not really much to joke about if I don't even give myself a setup. And I think that's what I'm going to do. Maybe it'll make the podcast more fun, longer, more enjoyable if I'm into it. And maybe I just won't. Obviously, the main topics would still all be low budget, but maybe I'll discuss more fun stuff in the future. Like, I'll throw in stuff, a story time, make it all around a more fleshed out, well-rounded experience. Oh my god, I just remembered something. Okay, before I go, I did have one critique that I completely forgot about until like 10 seconds ago for Plan 9 from Outer Space. That plot needed fleshed out. Like, that was a whole tangent I went into that I skipped past because, again, it was very, like, fact heavy. Like, I actually researched for it. But to put it in my own opinion, real quick, and then we'll wrap up this video. I'm sorry. This is on me. I should have had this in topic 2. Oh my god, did that plot need fleshed out, because it was so, like, strict to just aliens come down from Earth and resurrect the dead, but it forgot to put what happens after that. Like, oh my god. I feel like that rant was unnecessary, but I'm at my lucky number 27, and I am going to put some more funny videos in to hopefully pad this out, maybe get to 32 minutes. I will see you in the next episode where I will be discussing a social media flop. Grimes. Yeah, I know. I don't like Grimes either. But she does have a low budget album, so it must be talked about. And another low budget podcast on the Low Budget Podcast. Then maybe I'll talk about that band that I hate. Yeah, and I'll have some more fun stuff in there. I hope you have a great day. Stay safe. I hope today was better than yesterday, and I hope tomorrow's better than today. Thank you for watching or listening if this gets on Spotify. I need some water. Goodbye.